Welcome back, guys, to Outdoor Power Tech. Got a Husqvarna 125BV in today, one of my customers. He's complaining about it bogging down, which is normal with these. Complaining about bogging down when it gives it gas. And so I told him I'd take a look at it for him. I looked back through my videos, and I do have one Husqvarna 125B video. They're very similar, if not exactly the same. The BV, and this is the X series, so it has a little more torque. I'm still going to do a video just in case somebody wants to see on this particular model right here. So let's get started, and we'll pull the gas out of it. I'll show you what it's doing. I won't run it too long because my doors are closed, but let's choke it. There. See what I did when I give it gas. All right. So what we're going to do is get that gas sucked out of it. I could probably let it warm up for a good while and it'll run a little better, but with it falling on its face like that, we're going to go ahead and just do a tune up on it and clean the carburetor out on it. Get this gas out of here because I'm pretty sure it ain't that good. And I don't want to, I adjusted the carb a little bit before I started this because it was right whenever you even touch the trigger, it bogged down. And a lot of times you can just adjust that high and low jet, clear it out and let it run fairly good, but it still was giving me that issue of falling on its face like that. And I'd rather have this thing running perfect for a customer when he gets it. Let's pull this. I'm gonna see if I can pull the gas filter out of here right now. They always tend to put on these, they put the shortest gas line possible so you can't pull it up and get the gas filter out. Yeah, I can get it right up to the top. And that's where it stops at. So I might just put a whole new gas line in here also for the customer. All right, let's get these side panels off. It's going to be a 4mm Allen wrench. I'll just unscrew these. These should be machine screws here because it's going in the metal on this recoil cover. And there'll be 4. I can tell this has never been open because they're a little tight. So there's four in here. There's one here, 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 and here. All right. Pull that off. Set that over here. Okay, and we got 1, 2, 3 for this cover, and these are going into plastic, so they'll have a lot more, as you see right here. I showed this on my other video, I believe. This is a machine thread which goes into metal, and this is plastic, goes into plastic. So the teeth on here are more pronounced on it because it has to hold into that plastic. So don't get those mixed up, because you don't want to screw your plastic screws into where your metal screws need to go, because then you'll waller that hole out and then nothing will fit up right. But I'll go over it when we get it put back together. That's those 3. And this should just pull off like so. And this, your on-off switch might pull out, but it just slides right back up in there like that. Okay. Let's go ahead and get the carburetor off of it. I like to go ahead and get the throttle and the linkage right here on these, and just pull this off like this, and then your linkage down here pivots this way and pulls out. You can see that little, where it's bent like that, and when you put it back in, you hold it like that, and then it'll just do it just like that. Voila. But I'll go over that whenever we put it back together. Okay. Now, let's get the carburetor off. Pull your air filter cover off. Pull your air filter out. I think I have some of these in stock. And this will come off the front. I'll show you how to put that back on when it goes back together. It's just real simple. Okay. Let me see if I can get y'all down here so y'all can see in here. We've got 2 5/16 nuts right here holding this carburetor on it and the air box. We'll just use our ratchet and socket and pull it off. Or if you have a 5/16 driver, you can use that. Set these 2 aside, don't lose those. That's what holds your carburetor on. Then you got one down here. Okay. Now this, pull your choke over here because there's a groove cut out that's wider. So when you pull your air filter box off, you can just finagle it around that, like so. All right. You're gonna have 2 gas lines here going to your primer bulb. And while you have all this pulled out, this will be a good time to look at your primer bulb and make sure it's not cracked. If so, you're gonna want to replace it. Your top line going into your primer bulb right here. This might be flipped the other way, so let me show it to you this way. Let me get a primer bulb out. so you can see what I'm talking about. Your line going into the top of your carburetor right here will be going into the short port on your primer bulb. There's a short and a long. So the one on this model, the line that's going into the top of your carburetor over here is going to be this short nipple, okay? And then the longer nipple is going to be going into your gas tank. And that's your return. So when you push your primer bulb like this, it pushes the gas, pulls the gas through the carburetor, and then pushes it back into your tank to prime it from all the air bubbles. Okay. So what we're gonna want to do is take this top line off. And a lot of times I like to just put a pair of those pliers on and just twist it like that a few times. Don't squeeze too hard because you'll break the line. And then do like this right here. Just slide it off. Now if your line's really, really hard, like if you squeeze it, it's really, really hard, you're gonna want to replace the line anyway, and you're probably gonna tear it pulling it off of there. But the line's pretty good on this one. So, all right, now let's go back over here. Set that over there. There is a line not this big one, not the one that was just using, but there is a line that comes out of your gas tank right here. It's a small line that goes into your gas tank to your gas filter. Okay, so this comes up and goes into the bottom of your carburetor. And what you can do, you can pull this carburetor off like this. Don't lose your gasket that goes between your air cleaner and the carburetor. We'll set that to the side. You can pull the carburetor off like this. We have plenty enough gas line here, so I'm gonna pull some through the gas tank so I can get to that fuel filter. Do the same thing on this side. I'm just gonna barely apply some pressure and twist it, and then push it off like that. Okay. Let me go ahead. I've got some long needle nose pliers right here that I use. If you don't have this, I don't know how to tell you to get a hold of that line in your gas tank. But if you can get a hold of that line that's on your fuel filter, get a hold of it. Okay, so I grabbed the wrong one there. Let's see, so I'm gonna grab this. And grab a hold of your line. And you can pull some into your car, into your gas tank. And just keep pulling it like that. If y'all saw that. Okay. Now I can reach down here and pull that out. I got a tool right here that came in a kit that I bought probably 9 years ago for pulling gas lines through plastic tanks. You can get you a wire and put you a little hook on the end of it. That will work with grabbing it and pulling it out. So I'm gonna do this. And here we go, we got the gas filter out. And it is a little dirty. Yeah, that's real dirty. So I'm gonna go ahead and replace that. What I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna cut the line right here above it because that part's stretched out already from the old fuel filter. And then we're gonna get a new fuel filter and put on. And I will put the part number up online for you to see. Here's the new fuel filter. Just squeeze. You know what? You can squirt some WD-40 on it like that, just to help out a little bit. But what we're going to do is we're going to squeeze it onto this nipple on the gas filter. And it can be aggravating sometimes. Just take your time. And there, we got it on there. It does not have to go all the way up to, you can get up as far as you want to, but you saw from the factory. You saw from the factory, it was just right there. And trust me, that's gonna hold and stay good. All right, let's drop that back down in there. Now's the time for you to replace the gas line if you have to replace the gas line. I'm gonna pull this back up a little bit to where it was. And then we'll take a look at that carburetor. All right, since all that's done, let's go ahead and get this over to the side. That gas filter was pretty nasty. There we go, I'll let you see. You see how far the gas line went on from the factory, just to there. All right, now let's get the carburetor, which is really, really clean. Let's go, I'm gonna spray this off with my air compressor. All right, let's get this set over here. Let's get us a Phillips screwdriver. See if y'all can see here. Let's take these two off. Let me get bigger. I'm gonna get all the dust and dirt off this rack. Just so we got a cleaner workspace here. Now this thing cranks good. Choke works fine. The choke jet, everything works fine as far as cranking. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna look over everything, make sure there's no trash in it. And then I'm going to clean the high and low jet on it. And I'll show you how I'm going to do that. Let me get y'all in here really good so y'all can see what exactly is going on here. Okay, here we go. That'll be really good. All right. I'm going to just wipe this off with a real good clean rag. Those look good to me. This gasket comes off, this plastic gasket right here. Just be careful not to tear it. And what I'm looking for is to make sure there's no debris inside here, and there's not. It's clean. So I'm gonna get that real good and dry. Put that back on and set it to the side. Yep, that looks perfect. Okay, all right. Now, I'm going to set these two screws over here. Now we're going to take the top off the diaphragm side. And it's just 2 screws on this one. If my heater comes on, just ignore the sound. It's like 32 degrees outside. All right, and then just pop this off. The diaphragm looks good. I'm gonna replace it just in case, since I'm in here. So we'll just pull that off. There's a little, the diaphragm's small as far as thin. It's thin. It's really, really thin. Okay, and the one that we're gonna wanna get is gonna be, it's gonna have a flatter nipple on here. I'll put the part number for this diaphragm on the screen. But, I mean, it's still, let's see here. That's a little stiff. He got this he got this leaf blower last year, and that's stiff already. I'm telling you, this pre-mixed stuff, that's all he runs in his stuff. This pre-mixed stuff, I've noticed that it's drying diaphragms out faster than regular gas mixed with oil. It's like it's drying it out. And it's not like an old gasket gets hard and brittle over time. It's literally drying it. Like, that's dry, and this thing's a year old. It's just dry. I don't know what it is about that premix stuff, but everybody loves it. But every time something comes in my shop like this, I notice that it's dried out like that. Now we're going to have to get the diaphragm pulls away from this gasket right here. And I'll put both part numbers up there for you. But, all right, I'm going to take the needle out. This is what lets your gas in your carburetor right here. When that diaphragm moves up and down, it lifts your needle right there, and it lifts it off the seat and lets the gas come out. Be very careful, because this stuff is very small. You might want to bypass this part first, and then if it still don't run, take it apart and do this. But I'm just wanting to make sure that it's cleaned out. And it is. It's cleaned out. All right. Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and put that back in so I don't lose it. The way I do this, I've been doing this for years, so it's hard to explain, and I don't know if I'll be able to. I don't know if I'll be able to show you on the screen. I like to put the spring in first. There's a little tiny hole right here where my finger's pointing, the indentation. I like to put the spring in that first. And with the carburetor laying level, I like to put the spring just in there like that. Can y'all see the spring in there? I hope so. And then I get the needle. I get the needle and the lever that's on, see? And that needle just sits in there like this, the little U shape right here. See that? That goes in there like that, okay? And then I put your pin through, and then on the back side of this lever, there's a little bubble. You see that bubble? That's gonna go on your spring. So what I do is I hold it like this. Oh, I can't do it. I hold it like this. That's small. and I set it down on this bubble right there and let the needle go down into where the seat's at. Can you see how all that's together right there? And then I push it down. And once it's down, tighten up your screw again, your lock screw here to hold the pin in. And that should be it. And that should be level. Your lever right here should be level with this. Like what I usually do is I get a razor blade and set across it. Here's my razor blade. I'll get a razor blade like this. Let's see here. And I'll set the razor blade across right here. Let's see here. I don't know if y'all can see that. But you don't want this, you don't want this lever sticking up to where when you put this down here, that it pushes it. And it looks like it needs to be adjusted just a hair maybe. See if I can adjust it. If it needs to be adjusted, you just barely bend it. Okay, yeah, I got it. See, it's barely touching. That's what you want. That light shining behind it's making it look like it's down further, but it's not. It's touching. It's touching the razor blade. Okay. All right, now what I'm gonna do next is we're gonna pull the jets out, but we're gonna do it one by one. And what I have done on my tool here that I remove this jet with, I'll put this part number in the description for you also for this specific carburetor. I have put a white line on here so I can count the turns. So the first one we're going to start with is the high jet, and it'll be marked H and L. See the L? L and H. Let's see if I can shine it. See the H on the bottom right and L right there? Okay. And what I like to do is start with the white line of my driver right here pointing up. And we're going to screw it in first. So one. Y'all saw that? One. So 1.5. 1.5 is where we at. So when we put it in, we'll know to tighten it, screw it in till it's snug, then turn 1.5. I want to do 1.25 because that's normal. And I screwed this probably about a quarter turn when I adjusted it earlier. All right, so now I'm going, with my carb cleaner, I'm going to spray into that jet right there. And if you can see, hold on one second. If you can see, it sprays out the top here and out the mouth right there. So that's clean. All right. Let's screw this back in. We're gonna screw it in all the way. Don't screw it in hard. You want to go gentle with it. And right when it bottoms out, you'll know when it bottoms out, it will stop. Right there, it stopped right there. So I'm gonna move my driver right here with the line pointing up, and we're gonna go 1 and 1/4. I'm gonna do the same process on this one. 1, and that was about 2 turns. This is our high jet, so I'll do it 1 1/4 also. 1 1/4 is a good starting point. And then you can adjust once it's on your unit. All right, so let's spray in here. You see that spray out there? That's what we want. And then it should be coming out on the inside of the carb there too, maybe, I can't remember. No. All right, so that's good. Let's put our jet back in. Okay, let's do 1. I'm gonna do 1 3/4, maybe. Okay, now let's go ahead and get this other side back on. This only goes on one way because the holes in it don't line up, as you can see. Now they do. You just line your holes up in there like that. This side with the screw always goes towards the end with your lever here. Pop this back on. This is your throttle or your idle screw. Get these all back on. I'll take these gloves off here in a minute. I just want them on when I spray that carb cleaner. And it should be dry by now. Okay, let me get this diaphragm. I'm going to reuse this gasket because there's absolutely nothing wrong with it. There's not even any indentions in it, but I will still give you the part number for that. All right, there's our new diaphragm. As you can see, it's real pliable. I'll take this off so I can handle better. Okay, let's go back on for our gasket. And it goes, it's the same thing. It can only go on, well, I think you can put it on this way, maybe. Yeah, you can, but that's not the way it goes on. It goes on. Let's see. It goes on like that. See, there's a little indentation right here. There's a little hole right here. That's what the tip of this cover is going to go in. All right, so put your diaphragm on top. It goes on second. Gasket, then diaphragm. Get it lined up. Put our cover on. There we go. Get our screw started. Get our second screw started. And you want to tighten these evenly. Don't tighten one down all the way, then tighten the other one. Because you want it to, I don't know what's going on with my hand today. All right, So we're gonna get this one snug, get this one snug, and then we're gonna tighten it down, but not much. All right, that should be good on that. So let's get our unit back over here. I'll keep out my set this here. Put this over here. Set this over here now. All right. Okay, your carburetor's gonna go like so. Your choke's gonna be on the bottom, like this, okay? So this bottom line that goes into the gas tank, the real small one, real skinny one, goes on this nipple right here, this inlet going into the carburetor. Slide it on really good. Try to get up there at least halfway. We'll tuck that in and then we'll slide this carburetor on. Make sure that your line over here, this line right here, make sure it's not kinked or gas will not be able to get through it, okay? And ours is fine, ours is good. Okay, now let's put our gasket back on that was between the carburetor and the air filter box. And as you can see, this has some indentions in it. Make this side, it doesn't matter, but I like to go back the way it came off. So this was going towards the air filter box because of the indentions in here. So I'm gonna put that back on there like that. Then your air filter box right here, we got this top gas line. And remember where it went? It went into it went in right here where my finger's pointing. So I'm gonna get my needle nose pliers. And we're going, y'all can't see a freaking thing, can you? Get my needle nose pliers and push her on there, like so. Here we go. All right. Now that that's on there, we can move our air filter box like this. If you can see how that is. And we're gonna want to get the choke lever through that hole on that side, like that. And then just line up your holes on the air filter box and slide over your two carburetor mounting bolts. Okay. And now we're back to this point where we're going to put our mounting nuts on there. And they're the 5/16 nuts. Like this. You only have two of them. And I like to get it on the end of my driver like this and then tilt the unit back a little bit so I can just go straight up with it, basically. And then just get it started. That way it don't fall out and fall down into the carburetor. It's just a pain in the butt when that happens. So I'm gonna do the same thing again. Turn this up like this. Then get it started like that. All right, get that one just finger snug. Make sure while you're doing this, look behind it, make sure none of your gas lines are between the carburetor and the air filter box, pinching, make sure everything's good. All right, and then we're going to tighten down on these. Not much, just common sense. Just get it past snug. All right, now let's get our linkage and our throttle lever. Remember this? All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to go into the hole, like you see how it facing like that. We're going to go down in a hole like this, like that, and then work it down into there. Like that. There we go. Okay. Yep. And then our throttle goes on like this right here. And slides right here on this bracket sticking out right here. Then it should work your carburetor like that. Okay. Now let's get this back on. Now I told you this piece right here fell out of the front. This just basically goes here in the front like so. Let's see if I can remember how this went. Okay, yeah, can y'all see that, how that's on there like that? The side that has the two little nipples right here will be on this side of the unit, of the recoil. See these two little nipples? And you'll just fit it up in there. There it is. What I did was, there's two nipples right here that this back side kind of goes into like so. There we go. All right. Then with your thumb holding this piece, keep it pushed up against there. Put on your cover right here. And you have to mess with it for a few minutes. It's not just going to snap right back on in place. Okay, there we go. That's good. All right, let's get our plastic screws that go up here on top. Remember, those were the ones that had the bigger threads on them. Let's get those screwed in. You got this top one right here. We got this one right here. And we got this one right here. Okay, and then we got the recoil. Make sure it's good and springy. Now be a time to replace your line, your string if you need to. And they come off so easy though, you can do that anytime you want to, really. Okay, then we get our other 4 screws here. Get them screwed in. I'm just gonna do this real quick because y'all probably know how to do that. I'm not going to replace his spark plug because it looks brand new. He bought this last year. Has a small yard, a real small yard. And used it last fall, went right after he bought it. So I know it's still good. The air filter's actually really good too. I'll check it though, just in case. I don't know if that would fit in there. The one that I use for my chainsaws. Pull this off. Yeah, she looks good. I'll replace it just for y'all. All right, it's not bad. The tip, it's not burnt on it or corroded. Champion Champion RCJ6Y. RCJ6Y. Let's get him a new one up in here. Like spark plug gap should be between 25 thousandths and 30. I like to run mine right below 30. Just a little bit. Let's get that screwed in. That felt weird. That felt weird when that went in. That's it, right there. Just want to make sure. All right, put that on there. I think I have some of these in stock. I'll have to go out to. I have to go out to my other building and look where I keep most of my 2-cycle stuff at. But for the video right now, that was still good. We'll put this back on. And you always want to adjust your carburetor with your air filter box on. Let's get air filter cover put back on. Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and have my tool handy just in case. The adjustment tool for these carburetors. Let's give it some gas, some fresh good gas. Zoom this out. I just mixed this up so it's good. I'm just gonna put a little bit in there. Because he's probably gonna want to run his pre-mix stuff. All right, I'm gonna pump this primer bulb a good many times just to get it completely flushed out. The direction says do 10 to start it, but since we just did that cleaning on it, I'm just gonna keep pumping it just to get everything out. Okay. Put the gas cap back on. And let's see what this thing's going to do. Let's see here, it's on. Choke. She's idling really good. So it's idling a little low for my taste. I might idle that up a little bit. All right, let's see what she's gonna do, guys. Oh. Okay, let's adjust this. Go ahead and adjust this. Idling it back down since I adjust that high jet. I unscrewed that low jet. You know, I had it at a 1 1/4 turn. I bumped it up to a 1 1/2 turn. And so, of course, it has idled it up a little more. So that's where I like it right there. So anytime you adjust any of these, it's going to affect your idle, it's going to affect your throttle response, everything. So right now, I like where it's at. Sounds good, running good, idling good. Let's see what the response is on it. Try it again. That's about perfect. I might idle it down just a hair more. Alright. Let's turn it off and let's see if it's going to do a warm start. A lot of time on these Husqvarnas, even when it's hot, you have to go to half choke to crank them. I don't know why they like that. But we'll do it without doing that to see if it's going to fire up. Okay, yeah, there we go. So, yeah. I'm well pleased with that. I'm well pleased with that. That's running like a top. One thing to watch for when you do put on your cover here, you have wires coming up through here. If you're having a hard time getting it on, make sure that it's not pinching the wire on this side right here, right up against here. Right up in here is where the wires run. Make sure it's not pinching up against that. And also this on and off switch right here has a rubber grommet around it. If you try to put it together and it's just not closing here at the top, a lot of times this switch is leaning that way because this cover's not on and that rubber grommet's just catching it. So that's a little tip that just, you know, just move the switch back level with the unit and then this will pop right on over it also. But yeah, she runs good. I'm well pleased. I don't like these leaf blowers, but I'm pleased with it. It's running good. Customer's gonna be happy. And I hope y'all enjoyed the video, and we'll see y'all next time. Bye.